Yay, part 2.
Yep. We never know how to start these.
No, yeah. I don't think we should host like an actual podcast because otherwise the openings would just be so jank.
Yeah, we'd suck at it.
Yeah.
Why are we even doing this right now?
I don't know. You know what? Let's hit pause on the record.
No. Okay.
All right. Track 9.
Yeah. So this is part 2 of us talking about Everything Is Also Strange, our album. In part 1, if you somehow didn't watch that before this, we talked about the makings of the songs and stuff, and the first 8 songs on the album. In this part, we're going to talk about the second half, the latter 8 songs, and we're going to, give the concluding thoughts.
Yeah, basically.
On everything.
Yeah, as in the album and also the ATAP project.
Yeah, because once again, this is the last indefinite release, so
yeah,
feels like
it's not confirmed that we're going to do anything after we get back from college, so this might be it, basically. So we're going to talk about that.
Okay, so
on that cheery note, she betrayed herself.
She did.
You know she did.
So this song, I think it was back in March, I think, this year, where the idea for this song came about. I don't know, it was just a ordinary day, and I was just my mind was just thinking musically, and the horn line, or I guess sort of like the horn melody in the chorus, just kind of popped into my head. Hopefully I didn't accidentally steal that from
No,
anywhere.
you didn't. I would have realized it.
But yeah, so I kind of heard that, and I was like, okay, maybe that can work with something. And so I got on GarageBand, made a new project, and I recorded that with horns. And I thought, well, how am I going to build off of this now? So that's when I thought of the drums, the bass, and the percussion. And that's kind of where the idea sort of fully started to develop from there. Because those 4 elements were like the main elements of the song that I wanted, that we basically made everything off of.
Basically. Yeah, this song kind of has partially go-go inspirations. If you don't know, go-go is the style of percussion and horn-heavy music that's kind of native to the Washington, D.C. area. So it's got very heavy percussion section, a really kind of catchy bass line. That's kind of one of the main elements that glues everything together.
Yeah, I thought that for this song, it would be, to put more emphasis on the bass. Like, that was the sort of thing that was going to get you to really move and feel it more. And honestly, I don't know if we made it if we made it too much, but, I think when you listen to the song, you certainly really feel the kind of strength that has to really get you to kind of move around, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a groovy bass line, and we've also got driving drums and other subtle elements in there as well, but basically the main thing is this thick stack of percussion elements and the horn line. That's the catchy element, and the repetition of that makes the song, I think, catchy and fun.
I think something that was important for me for this song was that I didn't just want to make it like one of those generic reggae beats where the beats just kind of like boom, boom, like that.
That's a cool beat, but it's used so much.
Yeah, it is. I find it to be a really overused thing in songs. It can sound good in a lot of songs, but I think some of them just kind of have it just as their backing beat. But for this song, I didn't really want to do it like that. I wanted to sort of create a kind of unique beat that kind of worked better with all the other stuff.
Yeah, so you have a...
Yeah, something that, still sounds really cool on its own.
I think you have a real talent that you've kind of shown in this album and you do this with melodies as well, I think, which is kind of really inspiring. But you can create seemingly simple but unique and catchy drum beats. Same way you can create technically simple but really catchy melodies, I think.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes you really don't have to go like super complicated with some of these elements. You know, sometimes you can just get kind of a loop of like 8 or 16 bars of, you know, something, and you put that on for a couple minutes and it sticks with you.
That's our Daft Punk inspiration as well. But yeah, you wrote all of the melodies, bar, I think, Everything Is Also Strange, because I did that one. But a lot of these melodies are super, super catchy, and that's kind of down to you, because you are really good at writing catchy melodies.
Thanks. So with this song, you know, like the context of she betrayed herself, I mean, it's not really about anyone that I know. It was just sort of something I wrote to kind of go with the horn line, I guess. When I was trying to think about something to sing along with the horn line, I was really thinking about it, and I was like, well, what can I do? And then that phrase, she betrayed herself, just kind of, you know, popped in there, and I was like, well, that works.
Yeah, it does.
And then I guess it was just about expanding on the idea of that scenario in the verses and the pre-choruses and stuff. So, I mean, in a sense, it's not like totally a dance song. I mean, because you do have those sections that kind of slow down a bit, like the verses and whatever.
Yeah. It's not only a sort of dark. Well, it's a mixture of lots of genres, like all of the songs in this album.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's just kind of a song that you can just have playing in like the club or whatever.
Yeah.
Just in the background.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I really also the solo parts with the saxophone and the electric guitar. I think that was.
Yeah, we like that bit.
A really, you know, I don't mean to say I'm a genius, but
yeah, that was.
I did sort of have the idea of having them going back and forth at each other.
Yeah, that kind of improvisational call and response is super fun. I like that a lot.
I think that was just to give it more energy, you know, and not just have a single thing that was just going around and around. It was just more of like, I guess it's sort of like a competitive thing. And, you know, to really give this song an overall vibe of like you're really there watching people play instruments, and there's a sort of just a whole band with horns and stuff. You know?
Yeah, and this is if the kind of theme of this album is humanness, right? Whether it's sort of everything's going away from being human, like with Plastic People, Radiowave, and Electro Park. This song feels quite human, I think. It's quite a
Yeah, because I think it's got that more I don't know, authentic feeling to it.
Yeah, it's more acoustic. The singing is I think it's quite a natural, personal song, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably all there is to say about that song. It's probably one of my favorites. I think it's definitely in my top 5, maybe even top 3.
It's
because
a standout.
The idea, I think, is good, and the execution was even better.
Yeah, so. I think that's one of the highlight tracks, I think. Mm-hmm. I like that one a lot. So now we have, unless you have anything else to say, number 10.
Not really.
Manipulator.
Man, open bracket,
manipulator, close bracket.
I mean, the name of the song kind of, I think, because I guess, like, it's the impression of, you know, you think you see a guy who looks pretty ordinary or whatever, like your generic man or whatever, but there's more to it that you don't see on the surface.
Yeah, something more sinister as well.
So this song is definitely the most rock a song that we have on this album.
Very much. We wanted it to be very, very electric guitar heavy, and this is where I really tried to bust out my chops as a guitar player. I'm not the best, but we tried to do... We wanted the main emotion of this song to be anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you coming to me when you said, I've got the song called Manipulator. What is the most angry chord? I was like, bro.
Yeah, because I really wanted, you know, the instruments to really express that feeling, and just wanted to find the ones that sounded the most like that. I mean, we didn't end up picking the angriest sounding chord, but I think it's it's still a chord that still works very well
Yeah, it definitely sounds angry, I think.
in some sense. Yeah. But yeah, song is very, guitar heavy. I mean, we've got multiple guitar tracks going all around.
Yeah, it's got a very distorted sound. We distort your vocals as well.
Yeah, that's true. And like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just a song that, I mean, you sort of can like definitely move around with a bit and really kind of soak up all
It's
of
a
that
headbanger.
angry feeling it's trying to convey.
Yeah, it's the most, I think, rage-filled we've ever been.
Yeah, because it's really trying to express that kind of feeling that, you have about someone who is just ended up doing and being the ways that they have.
Yeah,
And,
kind of.
I mean, I guess for me personally, it's quite an annoying subject matter, and it just makes me feel a little upset, which is why I really try to make myself sound the way that I do. And there's also a track of me on the vocals where I make my voice sound really gross.
Yeah, we did a lot to layer the tracks to make you have. So there's we'll get to that bit in a second. There's a regular voice of you singing "You're not a man, you're a manipulator" in the chorus, which is a bit distorted. We did another track of you sitting kind of further away, yelling at the top of your lungs. We turned that down a lot, but it kind of adds an energy to the vocals.
Yeah.
And then, as you were saying, there's another track of you doing a kind of monstrous voice.
Yeah, I just thought that having that additional gross sounding thing would have made it feel, a lot more.
Can you do the voice?
Oh, geez. Let me see.
You're not a man, you're manipulative.
We've
No.
kind of blown out your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But-
that is like pretty turned down. We added a phaser on it, so
Yeah,
it's kind of all
definitely.
around.
It was definitely not going to be the main voice you hear.
But it kind of adds, and I guess we can get into a little bit what this song is sort of inspired by. We kind of wanted a kind of monstrous voice, kind of blending a human voice and a kind of weird creature thing.
Yeah, I think in a sense the overall tone of my voice is just sort of to just be, really powerful and to really demonstrate that, there's a lot to say and, you really want to express that.
Yeah, and it's kind of a close to home subject for us.
Mm.
I don't know how much we want to go into it. Probably not.
No, yeah, we shouldn't.
No.
But, I think apart from the personal background, I think this song is really quite enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed making it and writing it. And it's, I haven't, as a songwriter, or I think we haven't, we've never tried to kind of convey rage.
Yeah, not really. I mean, sort of did that a bit on How Much Longer, because I remember in that song I sort of got louder in the verses until I eventually just kind of screamed.
Yeah.
But that was not for like the entire song.
No. And also I don't think that it was kind of comedic rage in that one.
Yeah.
Whereas in this song, we are genuinely angry.
Yeah, this song definitely is putting on that more serious tone.
Yeah. If that one was like, oh, everything sucks, this one is like, everything sucks. Right? And
Yeah.
yeah, this is like one of my standout favorites, just with how it turned out. The solo as well, I really like that. That was done on the West Pest additive synthesizer. We added a bunch of effects to it, and I think...
Yeah, that was a really interesting one to do for a solo, but I think it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, it really like distorted sounds. The interesting combination of like power ballad piano, like in the instrumental before the last chorus, I'm really sort of bashing it.
Yeah.
That combined with a sort of really growly bass and really crunchy guitars makes it for a quite oh, and also some strings. A kind of rock ballad. I really like that.
Yeah, sort of a grand, sounding song.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we also have the piano and strings orchestral section.
Yeah, with me and my slightly toned down voice.
Yeah, that's kind of your clean vocal, I think.
Mhm.
But overall, that's one of my favourite songs on the album, and that we've ever done.
Yeah, I think that is probably up there for me also.
Once again, pre-chorus is a banger.
Yeah, it really picks up in that part. Okay, so moving on to Get Back into the Rhythm. I know this is one of your favorites.
It's one of my favourites, absolute favourite songs.
So this song, this song does go back quite a while, and I remember actually the original idea I had for this song was that it was going to be more along the lines of like 90s jazz, kind of similar to songs by Incognito.
Yeah, that was our original idea, wasn't it? It was going to be kind of an incognito track.
You know, it wasn't a bad idea, but I think when we tried actually making it like that, it wasn't really turning out super well.
Yeah, I remember what we had.
Because I remember for that I remember that there was like this horn intro. It's like, and then it just kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was cool, but
That was cool.
I think then the part after that was a bit.
Yeah, then it was kind of a what we hadn't found yet. Well, the drums were kind of lackluster as well.
Yeah.
First of all, and we had like a little bit of a guitar bit. But what we hadn't found was that the main element was the bass. Right. That's that cool. It's kind of the semi-quantized low bass line. That's the main thing that drives your feet, as well as the lead drum groove.
So then after, some reworking, rethinking, kind of came to a different idea of the song, having a more, I guess, modern
dance track,
disco sort of, yeah. And I think that honestly did probably turn out better.
I felt more like us, I think, because we have our string stabs that we like to add in a lot of our songs. This feels like...
And I think that, with this song, it was just kind of about making it like a sort of typical, one of those longer running dance songs. I mean, especially with the lyrics and the performance.
Yeah, there's a build, there's like a beat drop at the end. Which is pretty cool.
Was kind of a bit inspired by some Chic songs and
yeah. It's yeah, I really like that song. That is because it's just such a good vibe.
Yeah, I think it really it's a nice thing to have after those kinds of songs where
you've had about 5 songs
sort of cracking down.
Yeah.
And just to have something here that, sort of just allows you to sort of shake off that kind of negativity a little bit.
Yeah, it's a really fun song. It's one of my favorites. Just because of how fun it is. It has subtle but really interesting chords and production. And yeah, this is where the sort of dance production kind of came into play. Adding sub bass on the kicks and stuff.
Yeah,
that was super fun.
Okay, so then I guess we're done talking about that. So Midnight.
Good luck getting through this song without falling asleep.
Well, I mean, this song is certainly really, I think, mainly only appropriate to play at like that time, midnight.
Yeah, because it's really down tempo.
The song is kind of trying to convey this feeling of being like half awake and half asleep, which is sort of a feeling that I've had a lot.
Yeah.
Where I'm just kind of on the cusp of falling asleep, but also I don't want to. And I guess like, it's kind of the reason why it goes on for a while. And then, by the end, it's like eventually succumbing to falling asleep. But yeah, this song is kind of has this interesting structure where the first half of it is like me with my vocals and stuff with the instruments, but then after that it's kind of like
goes into a sort of long instrumental section.
Yeah, where everything sort of builds and builds.
Yeah, I really enjoy that bit.
You eventually get to the last part where it's just all there, and Yeah, it's really just about creating, kind of like Plastic People a bit, creating that vibe, that atmosphere. Um,
And it was an interesting challenge, well, not a challenge, an interesting idea to do your vocals kind of like Enigma, right? So we wanted it to be, I guess that kind of feeds into the feeling of being half asleep and half awake. We have your vocals turned down and have a lot of reverb on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost though you're kind of standing on the other end of a large room and you can't really hear you can hear what you're saying, but it's really kind of at the back of your mind, which is an interesting thing because on the other songs we've really turned you up to make you clear. So that like the vocals are the prominent element, whereas in this song I think it's kind of the instrumentals.
yeah, it's definitely more about this, beat that's just going on and on and on. That just, keeps the song moving, I guess, until the very end.
Yeah, it's really ambient, and it's just a really good vibe. I think it's a really vibey song.
I think it just accompanies that feeling of being awake at that time very well. So it's really only fitting for that time, I guess. Yeah, I mean, not much else to really say about that one, I don't think.
It's just a good song. Yeah, they just speak for themselves. They're good songs.
So, My Whole World
is another one of the ballads.
It was, I was thinking about it, like, Midnight was like, falling asleep, and this song, I kind of wanted to feel like... Waking up, yeah, that's why it sort of, like, fades in at the beginning. It's sort of like you open your eyes
and realize that this person is your whole world.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, I when I was thinking about this song, honestly, my original idea really didn't have a lot to it. But I knew that I just wanted this song to be really nice.
Yeah.
And just have, nice sounding chords and all that, and just be a really good feeling thing.
It's a bit similar to Normality in that it kind of has sort of childlike production. It's nice. It kind of has a quite small acoustic feeling to it. And one of the things that does that is you've got little pianos and little toy pianos and stuff. And you've got guitars as well, lots of guitars. And at some points in the song, the guitars are like ever so slightly out of tune, which at first I didn't like. But I think it kind of creates a sort of magic to the guitar tracks in that there's a kind of imperfection.
It's not perfect, but it's still working.
Yeah, and it's still really pretty, I think.
Yeah, which I guess, kind of just relates to the overall themes of the song, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think with this song, it's just like, it's just got this really nice feel, and especially with the lyrics, I think, just really talking about this kind of situation. And, yeah, I mean, and then when it gets, like, really kind of big in the end, where everything is sort of there, and then goes out, like, it's just, I think that's really something special. Not really a song I wrote about anybody, but just kind of...
That feeling.
Yeah.
I think everyone can relate to that feeling. Of seeing someone as your whole world.
Yeah, I guess all of these songs just sort of have that relatability, I guess, even if I may not have that, someone out there, many other people, But, yeah, I mean, that's all I can really think of.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So I guess track 14, Boogie Girl, which I guess is a play on the phrase boogeyman, right?
Yeah, I mean, because when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, Boogie Woman doesn't really sound like a good sounding thing, so Boogie Girl, because that's, got the same sort of syllable count, but also I think kind of represents this sort of immaturity level, I think. So with this song, it's kind of similar to Manipulator in a couple of ways. It's got like this evil overtones, a bit sinister.
Yeah, it's got the
not as like rock filled, but like
it's got a Superman supervillain-esque string line, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's the main motif of the song.
The string line was like, again, hopefully it's something I didn't steal by accident, but I feel like that string line, that melody is just sort of, it's just really, it just really has that feel and the sound of it, and the thriving strings with all the other stuff there too. I mean, those big drums and bass and all that. It really makes something that does have that whole, darkness.
Yeah. Manipulator and Boogie Girl, I think, are kind of sister tracks in tonality.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, like, it's not really, like, similar people per se, but I think it's just in terms of how, people like that can have an impact. And I mean, with the way I sing this song, not as, like, gritty as Manipulator, but I'm still trying to make myself sound very annoyed and upset.
Yeah, so this one's more, you feel annoyed rather than angry.
Yeah, because, like as I'm saying in the song, the Boogie Girl's just kind of being a hindrance.
Right.
And I'm just, like, fed up with it, that's kind of how it goes at the end. Like, I'm so tired of her. I'm so sick. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, listen to the song.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, and also, like, the solo as well. It was actually something that I played on the MIDI piano.
Yeah, so that was Eren's guitar solo.
Not an actual guitar,
Not actual
but,
guitar, yeah.
I still like it because I think it's got a real sort of that edge, and, it's
Yeah,
kind of brutal.
Yeah, and it's kind of in the uncanny valley where it sounds like a guitar, but you're not really sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess just because it is the guitar sound, so people would probably think that it is a real one, but it isn't.
Right.
But yeah, I think with that song, it's it's just kind of like another Manipulator type thing, a bit.
I like that song. It's it's catchy. You've done another masterful job at making a catchy melody that will literally never leave me.
That's all right. So moving on to the penultimate track, which is The Worst Is Yet to Come.
This is the only fully instrumental song. There are all of these songs. I think it's not these songs are vocalist and instrumental songs. All of these songs have vocal elements and instrumental elements kind of mixed in.
Yeah, I think another thing to talk about with the songs is that because, like, I kind of prefer songs with vocals and Jacob kind of prefers songs without them.
I don't know. I kind of like a mixture. We've both kind of come around to... I used to be of the mind that, like, lyrics were cringe, but I've since broadened my taste and now listen to lots of vocalist music. And I think you listen to more instrumentalist music because you used to think that instrumentalist music sucked. But now you've come around and listened to, like, loads of Pat Metheny and stuff.
Yeah. And I think the thing with these songs is that I think also a reason why, it contributes to the lengths of a lot of these songs is just because it's trying to combine those kinds of flows with those songs with vocals and songs without.
The things that we love about music.
And it's, I think it's a very interesting combination, but
right.
I think overall it just combines to make, a piece of music that is very, I guess, has a lot more to it than a lot of songs generally now.
Yeah, it's long, but I think we haven't just extended it without purpose. It has depth. And we actually didn't try, we're going off on a tangent here, but we didn't try and make all of these songs this long. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, intentional like it was with, like, because I remember Star Burning, one of the songs we did for the November releases was a song I knew that I wanted to really spread out and be long and, like...
That's what that was the idea behind the song.
But with, like, most of these ones, no, it just sort of just ended up that the songs reached the lengths of, like, 10 minutes and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't really have an issue with that, but I feel like a lot of people who are they kind of prefer just having their quick little getaway and then want to get back to what they were doing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the point of this album. And
it's
it's not like we're incapable of making short songs.
we did that on Simply a Yacht.
Yeah, it's a 50-minute album. That's pretty standard album length. But this one is like 2.5 hours. And there are several reasons for that. One, we just kind of wanted to explore all of these emotions and ideas kind of to their fullest. And we also wanted to go the biggest possible for this last album, right?
Yeah.
We didn't want to do just another 12-song album.
No, not really.
That wouldn't have carried the same weight to it as this mega project. I feel happy calling it a mega project. It's huge.
Yeah, anyway, so back to The Worst Is Yet to Come. I mean, I was actually originally thinking about this song having some kinds of lyrics in it, but I decided it probably would be better just to keep it completely instrumental, just so we can have at least one instrumental track on this album.
Yeah, it's dark and kind of brooding, and basically just like a dark.
I was really trying
track.
to imagine this kind of thing being played at like a crazy sort of dark house club thing.
Right, yeah. So like the lights are all turned down. There's a DJ and there are like strobe lights going with the kick. We wanted this to be kind of funky, but also kind of dark and driving. I think we did that. And we also there's an interesting track because we didn't, for all of these other songs, we kind of had a predetermined idea going into it.
Mm-hmm.
But for this song, we just sat down at my MIDI keyboard and were like, what do we want to do?
Yeah, I think for this song, it was kind of difficult to actually figure out how it was going to go, like the structure of it. And I remember we actually had a song idea before, which is called Fire Blanket. And that song was kind of similar to this in a way, but...
Because it was just supposed to be like a house song.
Yeah, but then we didn't really know how we were going to do it, so we ended up scrapping it.
A lot of people don't realize that sort of house production in the style of like Around the World, Daft Punk, people think, oh, it's just easy. You just repeat a bunch of... It's actually really difficult.
Yeah, because I think you've got to really figure out how this song is going to flow without it being like too drastic or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to get it with this song because it kind of just like drops in and out of different areas, but it feels appropriate.
Yeah, it builds in intensity until you're at the end and when it's going crazy.
Yeah, so I think we were able to get it right with this song. And, overall it's a song that's really got a lot of different kind of areas to it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed making this one.
So yeah, not much else to say about that one really. And now we go on to the last song on the album,
Happy Till the Bitter End.
So with this being the final song, I guess, I guess this is technically the last song of like this entire thing really.
Well, the ATAP project.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you had this idea of a final song, which was like, I don't really want to say too much about it because who knows, we might still potentially make that in the future.
Yeah.
But that I felt like for this album, it was better to have something that wasn't specific to just this time period. Had an overall message.
We wanted this to be as timeless as Simply, right?
Yeah.
We didn't want it to be...
Didn't want it to feel like it was just a product of its time, I guess.
Yeah, because...
But I mean, with the message of this song, it's kind of like, taking in everything that you've kind of been through with the rest of this album. And then just being like,
I'm just going to be happy.
You know what? Yeah, no matter how bad stuff is or how troubling people are or whatever, I'm still going to try to have a positive outlook on it.
Right.
Because that's what's going to help me get through this, life. Essentially.
And I think that's a good kind of moral to end the album on.
And I think that with this song, you know, there's kind of the idea of like someone who had sort of been knocked down, I guess presumably by the previous song,
Right.
getting back up on their feet, which I guess we tried to represent in the intro of the song.
Yeah, we've got a very nice
And
instrumental
then
intro.
the rest of the song just being them, you know, just doing what they're singing about, or what I'm singing about.
Yeah, the instrumentation is super nice on this song, I think. It really kind of reflects what you're singing about. You've got, I think strings play a big part in this album. And it kind of comes to a head at the end here, where you've got the kind of string melody at the end here. And I think, like with the piano outro and the kind of feelings in this song, it's a
fitting end.
Yeah, it is
I
a fitting
think.
end.
Not just to this album, but I think to this entire project that we've spent
Yeah,
a long time doing now.
to like a year and 7 months.
Yeah. But I mean, apart from that, I mean, again, song just kind of speaks for itself. You know, we keep saying it.
Keep saying that. Maybe go listen to the album if you haven't already.
Yeah, I don't really see why you'd watch these before you
Listen to it.
Yeah. But I mean, with that being said, I mean that's all of the tracks on the album we've talked about now.
Yeah, that is everything is also.
And I
strange.
think just to give my overall thoughts on the album as a whole, I think that this is a really, you know, I think the best way I can say is that it's a really interesting project.
Yeah.
It encompasses a pretty wide range of stuff.
Yeah, it's genre bending. There are so
And,
many different ideas. There are so many different emotions and feelings and lyrics and places that we went on the way here. And there are so many stories behind all of the songs that don't really get.
Yeah, a lot of different thoughts and feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really feel like I can say that this is better than Simply Idiotic. I feel like they're just both really different things to each other.
I think we've come a long way in how we make music. I think you've become a better singer. I've become a better songwriter and musician, and the production has definitely come a long way. I think we've definitely learned a lot about gear and software and stuff through making this. But I don't think, to me, and I'm sure I think I said this in part 1, Simply Idiotic will always have a special place in my heart because it's endearing. Because it is that sort of first foray into music making. It's just us experimenting with a couple of tracks in my bedroom. And that will always be special to me. But I think this album has more to say.
Yeah, I think this is probably a more impressive.
This is a statement piece. This is 2.5 hours of. This is what Ascending to Another Plane is. This is our best work, right?
Yeah, the best that we can do at this time, basically. Because, you know, obviously there still is a lot more to learn about this stuff. I mean, we haven't
complete novices.
We haven't completely cracked it yet. We're still just like 18-year-old delinquents.
Yeah.
Musical amateurs.
But I think I'm happy that I think Everything Is Also Strange, we wanted it to be this big closer to the ATAP project, right?
Yeah, and I think we were able to
that.
achieve that because it really does kind of...
I think this is everything we've learnt. This album is
like a culmination of the past almost 2 years now of us
exactly
making music, listening to more music, playing music in our spare time.
This album is what Ascending to Another Plane is. This is all the music we like. This is all the experiences that we've had. This is all the kind of times that we've shared. And the album is angry, but I will always feel kind of happy when I listen to that because I'll remember the times that we shared making it, basically.
Yeah.
I think this album's more poignant than Simply, because Simply is like, ooh, this is new and exciting. I love that album because it's like, this is new and exciting. Look at all the stuff we can do. But now, this one is, this is all the stuff we did. Right?
Yeah,
So look at
pretty
everything
much.
we did.
Pretty much.
Simply was trying to prove ourselves. Strange is showing who we are.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I think it's powerful.
All right, so I had this idea at this final section, because we are probably at this part now since we finished talking about the album and all the songs, to kind of go over and reflect over the entire, I guess, ATAP project, because this has been nearly 2 years of our lives that we've spent doing this, and there's a lot to, I think.
Unpack, I guess, yeah.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
it's been a wild ride.
This has been such a, like, I don't know. I still remember how I felt at the start of this, and I was like, you know, even though I had basically given you my approval to do this, I was still very skeptical. I wasn't really sure if this was going to turn out to be anything of substance, honestly.
The band, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure we talked about this in the Simply Idiotic one, but it all started with me saying, I want to make a band.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in it?
You just kind of told that to me, and I was like,
You know where it all started? Where it really all started was
Where?
that we were sitting in the IB lounge,
yeah.
the common room, and you said, I have a song to show you. It's my favourite song. And I listened to Virtual Insanity for the first time. It kind of blew my mind open.
Is that really where that
Yeah.
started?
I think so. And I was like, I want to do this. This is
Wow.
what I want to do.
That's quite interesting. I never knew that.
Those, like, I have a couple of Jamiroquai songs that hold a really special place in my heart, just because of how I was feeling when I listened to them. So, like, when I listen to Time Won't Wait or Virtual Insanity or, like, Cosmic Girl, those songs are, like, really special to me. They have a certain feeling about them, I think, just because of those were the songs that kind of opened my mind to a whole new world of music, and they had the feeling that I kind of want to replicate in my music.
Yeah, I can't lie. I also, because I mean, I remember when I discovered Virtual Insanity back in it was the COVID lockdown,
Yeah,
and I mean that song. First time I heard it, and I was literally like, "Wow, this is something, all right."
yeah, I was, because they were the first band we kind of bonded over, right?
Yeah,
Because, like, we were both new to IB, and it was like a month in. We didn't really know what we were doing. You showed me this song, and then we just went nuts over Jamiroquai together, right? And then
yeah,
we went nuts over Daft Punk together as well. And subsequently have explored loads of other artists together and listened to... Well,
yeah.
I'll always
honestly,
remember...
it's been such a great, and I mean, I think from doing all that, it really kind of made me want to listen to more like full length albums by artists.
Yeah, we really got into the... When we started to make music, we really started to appreciate the making of music and the artfulness that goes into albums. Because you are maybe the only other person I know that listens to albums how they are, like albums.
Well, I
everybody
mean,
else
for a long time, I didn't do that. It was only
me too.
within the last year and a bit where I started doing that, because, like, you know, I just wanted to kind of do that while I was doing schoolwork and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we really got into the art of album listening, and I still do. That's a habit that we've curated that I still do. I just listen to whole albums now.
I mean, with this whole music appreciation thing, like, for me, for like such a long time, I never really knew how complex songs actually were. I guess I never really looked at it in such a deep aspect, but now after kind of doing it myself, I really see how much there actually is to making just a single song.
Yeah, how much work goes into...
It is not easy.
Yeah, so from the conception of the idea to writing the song to recording all the instruments, that can take whole days, to mixing it, to mastering it, to putting it out. That is a really involved process for a single song. And I think learning about that process kind of made us have a lot more love for the songs that we already like.
Yeah, because now when I listen to songs, I really am not just looking at it so one note. I really look at all of those individual elements that I can hear and stuff, and how it's mixed and all that.
Imagine the story behind it.
I've got a much more complex view than I ever had. I mean, it's just a really
Yeah, we've kind of this process has kind of opened our minds to music, and the way our sounds and tastes have developed as well, from that starting point of falling in love with Jamiroquai together, right? The kind of new musical pathways that we've gone down, and things that have influenced our sound. I got really into Snarky Puppy and Jacob Collier, and you got really into Gorillaz and Enigma and Pat Metheny as well. But we've all kind of listened to this stuff together, and it's all kind of influenced what ATAP sounds like, right? Because it's just...
Yeah, it's a mesh of everything.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a combination of everything that we've listened to together.
But yeah, I guess going back to the project as a whole, I mean, looking back on it now, I feel like Missing Those Days was the perfect starter song to do for our band.
Yeah.
I think it was the perfect first song.
I still absolutely love that song. It doesn't matter if, with what we know now, we think it's mixed poorly or it's too simple. I think that is, just a genuine, heartfelt song,
honestly,
in the music and the lyrics.
That song's still got this impact that I think just is still even, here now, I think, even almost 2 years later. And I think also, in addition to that, I think Chili Sweet Green was the perfect second song to do.
Yeah.
And I also feel in a way, I still feel like that is somehow maybe the best song that we have done.
I would agree with you.
Because I feel like it's really just got, all of this to it that just kind of makes it this song where it's I can really...
it's what ATAP sounds like.
Appreciate that. And I mean, even with all the songs we did afterwards for Simply Idiotic and November Releases and all that.
And Now Was Strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's all really come a long way, I suppose, from where it started. And especially with, all the times we moved the studio around.
Yeah, we've had 3 different studio iterations.
But, I feel like your bedroom has always been the best place, really.
Yeah. And... Well, yeah, I think so too. I think we're at our most heartfelt when we're making music just in a bedroom. When we're trying to... We tried for a while. I tried to set up a studio in my garage or in a spare room in an attempt to try and make it more professional, and both of those had problems, they were too cold, for example, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're making music at our most honest and our most intimate when we're just in a bedroom recording vocals in a closet and playing piano that's kind of smashed in between 2 desks with a nest of wires behind the computer. I think that's where we're at our most, vulnerable as artists. And
yeah, but maybe that's what makes the work stronger.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I don't know, the whole project is it's crazy to me that we did it. It's been a huge constant in my life, I think.
Yeah, and it's gonna be weird now knowing that we're not gonna do it for double the time that we have spent doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We
it's
don't
been
even know what the...
it's been a very, honestly, like I want to keep doing more music related stuff now because of
Yeah,
this.
me too.
I mean, it's just like completely shifted what I've wanted to do. And
I going into this project, I just knew that I wanted to be in a high school band. I think I just thought that would be fun, but I did never realize this. I think was so much more than just being a garage band, right?
yeah,
And I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life at the beginning of year 12, right? But now I really think I have an idea. Now I really think that this is what I want to do. And this is it's been a crazy journey of kind of exploring interests and learning like so much about everything music related, to the process of writing it, to playing more instruments, to the production process, to the release process, right? To the, like the very small stuff is like managing an artist page. We've learned about that. And I think it's a journey we've come out of. Number one, having learnt an incredible amount of stuff about everything, not just about music but about life as well. Like, don't take things too seriously and just try and have fun, I think.
Yeah.
With the lessons I've learned. But we've also, I think, bonded over this shared endeavour of music loving and music making. And like some of the happiest moments of my life, making music in my bedroom with you. No.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I guess I also share the same sentiment as well, though I'm not willing to express it to such a high degree, just so I can maintain my cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, this was a really, overall, this was a really fun thing to do. I mean, had we not had this in year 12, year 13, I mean, those years would have been considerably worse.
Yeah.
Because this music thing, it really helped me get through some of those hard times, I think, because even when I felt kind of down from a lot of stuff that was going on and I don't know, really didn't feel like doing a lot, we had this, and this felt like it was really important to me, so I wanted to keep doing this no matter how bad things got.
Yeah, and it was an emotional outlet, right? In year 12 we were sort of happy and having fun and sort of everything seemed great, so we made a happy, sort of fun, carefree album. And then when things started to go downhill in year 13, we could channel those emotions into songs. I think that was really healthy.
I mean, I guess that's a thing that a lot of artists do, they kind of...
Yeah, music making is therapeutic.
They kind of, like, take their real-life situations and try to express how they feel in their music.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's no different for us.
Yeah, and we've got... Yeah, it's... ATAP has always been about having fun, but it's also about emotions, I think. Even back to missing those days, the core of the song was nostalgia. The core of the song is anger. The core of the song is sadness. The core of the song is hope or fear or stuff like that. And sure, there are like silly songs or dance songs, but we've always just made kind of honest music made more honest by the fact that we're doing everything ourselves. So it's not like we make the music, we write the lyric, or you write the lyrics, but you write the lyrics, we make the music, we release it, we mix it, we master it. So we're learning to do everything ourselves. And so I think I don't really know. It's just kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, yeah, it's really just...
It's gonna be. That kind of speaks for itself, you could say. it's going to be weird not having that constant in my life. Is every Friday or every day, you pull up and we do some music.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've really gotten used to that pattern.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely find some musical endeavors in college, and
Definitely, but I think I was talking about this the other day. I don't think any music making I will ever do in my life will feel as special as tracking the vocals to Missing Those Days in my bedroom, right? Because I think...
Yeah, no, I mean, it all really had a certain kind of thing to it, and that isn't really...
There's a certain magic
easy to replicate.
Yeah, there's a certain magic in the kind of roughness of it all. In the... I don't know, just the kind of feelings that the music and the lyrics evoke is something you can't really recapture. I guess that's a kind of magic of making music with you or with like a duo, right? Is a sort of, the magic's not really in me, the magic's not really in you, but when we're together we kind of make stuff and without even trying create beautiful work that we couldn't make on our own.
The two halves, they make a whole. So
right, yeah, and that's what the ATAP sound is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's I really do owe you a great deal for all of this stuff, because it really would not. I mean, stuff that I wrote. I mean, it's just the stuff that I wrote. Like
the stuff that I played is just the stuff that I played without the stuff that you wrote.
Really, you really made that stuff a lot more. Really brought more of the heart to it than I think, and of my lyrics and.
Well, I would say that because of your heart and because of the lyrics that you wrote, you meant that we made songs that I would have never made on my own, and we went to places that I don't think we would. Oh, we just like, I don't think ATAP would have been the same without either one of us, right?
I guess not.
And we both learned. I learned a great deal about songwriting from you, and I guess you learned a great deal about composing from me, or you just kind of learnt it by osmosis on your own?
I think so. I mean, after just like watching you play random stuff on the synthesizer for hours, it kind of just sat with me, and well, I guess I can kind of do a bit of that on my own now.
Yeah, and we'll go off and do. We're gonna go in different musical journeys now that we're going off to college, kind of both to study music. I mean, you're majoring in English, but you're minoring in music, right?
Yeah, it's still gonna be up there. So
yeah, we're both going off to study music in our own ways, right? And our tastes have been kind of diverging musically. Like, we're both exploring different stuff.
Yeah, I think we can both probably try and make different things.
And we will. But I think the core, emotionally, I will always be rooted in the stuff we did at ATAP. That's like kind of my roots, right? Or that feels like it. That's the first serious work that I did that I can be proud of, I think.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's... I will always be able to think back with fondness on the ATAP stuff, no matter what I go and do in the future, or like how different it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this whole thing, it's been impactful not just for the time that we did it, but also for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
So this will always sort of just be here, I suppose, and to remind us of where it sort of started, and
yeah, whether that's ATAP in the future, whether we do anything for that, or whether it's our own musical careers in the future.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I remember you said before, it'd be cool to have like more members in ATAP, but honestly, I wouldn't mind just keeping it as just
us two, yeah.
Because we could probably.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
Do it just the same as it was now.
But no matter what happens with either one of us or with ATAP in the future, there will always be this root in what the two of us did in my bedroom for 2 years. It's the kind of... It's the beginning of... Well, I guess, like, the rest of our lives, right? It's the... Whatever we go on to do, these 2 albums and this collection of singles will stand time immemorial here.
Yeah, dude, it will be on my my resume.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
For
I wrote Missing Those Days. Have you heard of me?
Yeah, I mean, God, I feel like this is really dragging on, so we should probably...
We should, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I can't lie, man. This is probably the most fun hobby I've ever done.
Yeah, me too.
And
nothing I've ever done has felt like quite this special, I think.
Yeah.
And nothing I've like... Because I made songs... I mean, they were utter crap, but I made songs before ATAP. I did art, I made comics, I did other stuff as well, but none of the other creative... I'm quite a creative person, I like making stuff. But none of the other creative hobbies that I've had have felt quite as special as making music for ATAP.
Yeah, I guess in my case, I mean, I didn't really have many hobbies, to be honest. I was sort of just, I just didn't really do much. But I think when this came around, it really gave me something that I could actually apply myself to, which...
Like purpose.
Yeah, I mean, that's really not happened many times in my life. So I think with this, it's really given me more... it really gave me more incentive. And honestly, though, even though I was really nervous about this and about, having me sing on songs that were going to be published online, because, I am generally a nervous person and I don't really like just having stuff of me out there, doing stuff that I can find kind of embarrassing or whatever.
No, fair enough.
But I think with this, I'm not really bothered by it.
No,
I think sometimes, though, it can be hard to just sit by people who've never listened to it and listen to it with them.
Yeah.
But I think
that's always going to be hard.
On my own, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling with it.
I'm kind of the same way. Obviously, I'm not being as vulnerable as singing. Although I'm going to try that in the future. I'm inspired by your singing, and I'm going to try being a vocalist in the future. But... obviously, having somebody listen to your instrumental work is not as, kind of embarrassing or vulnerable as somebody listening to your singing. But I kind of feel the same way about some of the tracks. However, with this album, I don't think I do. I don't feel as self-conscious, because I think the work is true, good, beautiful work, right?
Yeah.
And it's... There's a Jacob Collier interview that he did online where he basically said, art, I'm kind of simplifying, but he kind of said that there are different schools of thought. Art can be made for you, like me. ATAP made this art for ourselves. And there are also people that say they don't say ATAP made this art, but that you should make art for other people. I think this is kind of both. Because we made it for us, instrumentally, not literally instrumentally, but at its core, we made fun songs that we enjoy and we liked and we'd be happy putting out. But we also made songs that I'd be proud showing to other people.
Yeah, and I think in a sense that, I feel like it's also kind of in a way to maybe inspire other people to try and do this for themselves, especially if there are people that want to do stuff like this but feel like they can't because they're nervous or whatever. Then, I mean, you can take it from me because I was really nervous about this, but
we didn't know what we could do, but
look how it's turned out, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, when we started, basically we were complete novices. I wasn't that good at playing stuff. We weren't experienced songwriters, singers, lyricists, composers, but we made Simply Idiotic, and we've gone on to make something that I can say that I'm proud of. Again, Jacob Collier has this quote, and I'm sounding like a huge Jacob Collier fanboy because I am. But he says that the most important thing that someone can give a creative person, especially a musician, is permission to create whatever you want, right? And I hope that maybe this album and this project can do that for someone, saying, hey, you can do whatever you want. Look at what two novices in their bedroom can create. It's difficult, it's hard work, it's painful at times, it's boring, but at the end of the day, you can do it, and it'll be amazingly fun.
Yeah, I would also like to quote somebody, Giorgio Moroder from the Daft Punk song Giorgio by Moroder, where he basically says, once you free your mind about the concept of music and harmony being correct, you can do whatever you want and stuff. And I mean, I think that quote has really stuck with me because, you know, like, yeah, it's true. Music is it's a free art form, and you don't necessarily have to conform to a certain way of making it. And it is a subjective thing also.
Music isn't necessary, and because it isn't necessary, you can do whatever you want because you're just... you can literally do whatever you want because any convention that's been made up to say songs can only be 2 minutes 30 seconds, or songs have to stay in one key, or songs can't have an instrumental breakdown inside of a pop ballad.
Yeah,
that's been created, that's manufactured, and it's not true. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just the thing with how we feel like we have sort of conformed to a certain liking of some music compared to others, when really, I mean, it's all just music in itself.
Yeah.
And
why should we stick with one genre? Why should we stay with one idea?
I mean, of course, I will still have my own preferences for what music that I listen to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I can't at least kind of see and respect what other artists have done. Because even if I may not like some kind of song that I hear, I still can kind of see what the vision was.
You can, even if you don't like a song, I think we've learned the skill of even if you don't like a song.
Bless.
Sorry. Even if you don't like a song, you can respect it now because you know that passion went into it. I guess the thesis statement, if we have to end on something, because this is an hour and 7 minutes now, if we have to end on something, and let me see if you agree, the thesis statement for the project of Ascending to Another Plane is music is beautiful, right? And we should appreciate it, and you can make whatever you want, and whatever you make is beautiful, right?
Yeah, I guess I would say that that's true of this project.
I think that's what I've gotten out of this project. That's what I've learned, right?
Yeah.
Music is beautiful, and you can do whatever you want.
Essentially. All right, well, I think on that note, we're going to close off this more than 2 hour total talks episode.
Wow.
I would like to have one more thing here, you know, for the people who are watching this, and I guess just generally speaking for the people who, you know, have listened to our songs and have supported us.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I was going to say. Thanks to all of you. You know, even though we don't really do this for any of you, I mean, the fact that you still, I guess, cared to see what we've done,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
I don't know how we got 77 Instagram followers. We're not claiming to be like famous or anything.
No.
We're definitely not. But it's always touching to see people coming up to you and say, "We listened to your song." It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the positive feedback was actually quite surprising to me, but I do find myself really...
Yeah. And there are always, like, critics and stuff, but just the fact that there was positive feedback is good enough for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, you know, since we're recording this before the album drops, I mean, we don't actually know what people are gonna say about it yet.
I'm pretty sure the resounding feedback is why the hell is it so long? But honestly, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but you know, that's just what the project is. If you don't have to like it, and you don't have to dislike it.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not for you, it's not for you. We made it for us. But if you like it, then we made it for you.
I guess that's just how it is. You know, they just make something, and if it gets really popular, then good on them, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of artists
But we didn't make it to be popular. We made it because we
wanted to. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess this is kind of the final goodbye.
Yep. Last time you'll
Sad.
hear my voice.
Wow.
Maybe not ever, but at least for the time being.
For the near future. This is it.
But yeah, once again, you know, thanks. We've really enjoyed doing this for all this time, and hopefully we'll get back to it someday and make more music that we
work
like
together. Yeah. So until then, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, man. Or, you know,
Lady.
whoever's watching.
Non-binary
see ya.
folk. Bye.